Okay, let's go ahead and get 46 and 47 on.
Okay, what page are we on now? We are on page 18
18
in our manual.
in the manual.
And we're starting on part number 46.
Yes.
So as I'm starting to look at this, it's going to make it...
Actually, what you're going to do with this one is you're going to take
Yes,
the
sir.
glue and you're going to put this glue on this side,
Okay.
on the back, and on the bottom. This is the support for number 42.
So it's going to bump
Right
flat
next
up
to it,
against
right
42.
next to it, yes.
Oh, I see.
And this curve right here is starting what we call the ram wing.
Okay.
We had the ram wing from the hull and where it meets the ram wing of the deck. Again, team hull and team deck coming together. And that
Okay.
round right there, that's what it actually becomes a wing on, like on a real airplane.
Huh.
Yeah, so.
So what is the purpose in that being rounded off again?
Just like an airplane, when it gives it lift. It works in hand with the air trap, which works in hand with the ram wing, and which when we get the uprights and horizontal on, that works in conjunction with that as well. In other words, the tail and the wing on the back of the boat.
I see.
Yeah, we're a little ways from that yet, but all this works together. If you don't have an upright on, it's not going to go as fast because you're not going to get as much lift.
Okay.
And we see that, there are people that try to do it without that, and they really don't go very fast. Did you get some on the back?
Okay.
A little shot on the back.
Make sure you get some on
Okay.
the back,
Yep,
on the bottom,
that's it.
and on the side.
And right is going to support that right there. And again, it serves many purposes. Again, the vibration of the rocket, this helps
Wow.
absorb some of that energy. So
Okay.
it's going to be neat when you see when these go off. You see the difference between the ones that you made and these. There's a big difference.
Sure.
You're going to see that.
Okay.
All right, we're
So
looking good.
47.
Same thing, except the opposite side,
All
starboard
right.
side.
I think I got this one down.
Okay. Yep, looks good. About this point, we begin to ask students, how do you think your boat's going to perform? And by this time, they can talk about the bow, the stern, starboard side, port side, ram wing, all that, sponsons, a runner, afterplane, brake, all that kind of good stuff. And now they're beginning to think about it because we're getting close to doing wind tunnel testing. And that's another whole series of coursework that they're going to do. And again, critically thinking, I want them to start looking at the boat and thinking, okay, how is it going to perform? And they naturally begin to compare their boat with others, right? A little competition sets in, but again, it's all part of critical thinking. So we're getting close. But again, all these supports, it's controlling the energy. And when we fire this rocket off, you're going to really understand what I'm talking about firsthand.
Okay, now
All right, we're looking good.
So I won't need any tape on this.
No, it looks good. Nice and solid.
Okay.
Okay, you
So
ready to
once
turn
we
the
got
page? Go to the
46
next
and
one?
47
Looking
on?
good.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's
Would
go
you
to
get
next
the page for me,
Sure
H.A.?
will.
Well,
You can kind of stick your
Smith
hands
glue,
there.
it's
Huh?
all right.
Okay, page 19. Now,
All right. Parts 48 and 49.
Yes.
So just by looking at the diagram,
Very
this
good.
looks like this is going to go. Will this go on the outside?
that's correct.
All right.
Right along there. That's correct.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
Yep.
And I'm basically just running the glue just on the bottom.
Exactly, and on the back, the very back.
The bottom and the back. I
That's
got
it.
you.
Now the aerodynamics really coming into play now. So once we put piece number 52 on, you'll begin to see the roundness of the deck, and you're going to start looking like an airplane pretty quick here.
All right.
Okay. Here we go. That's it. And we'll give this a little bit of time to dry as well. Okay.
Remove this glue.
There you go. Very good.
Okay.
Okay. Not too hard, huh?
No, and you say it's starting to look like it's kind of
Yep.
like an airplane because it is, right?
It
It's a
is.
water
That's
plane.
what it is. That's what it is. And then right on the end. Very good.
Okay.
Okay. And again, more measurement. And now we can start talking a lot of mathematics, geometry, algebra, things of this sort. Very good. Okay. And by this time, they have a pretty good idea of how they think this is going to perform.
Okay.
Okay. And they've already had a number of lessons, spelling words that they've had that relate to this. They've already read the history of hydroplanes, there's a whole section on that, the history of the hydroplanes. They've got their language arts, their writing, their spelling, all that. So they're pretty much talking the language by now.
Now, have we started looking into like calculating speed and that, or
Yes,
is that
we
a little
do.
bit later?
It's a little later. When we
Okay.
get the rocket, that's the cool part. With the rocket, when we get to go to the lake, and we set up a whole system of calculating speed. We call it dimensional analysis. They're turning feet per second into miles per hour. So
All right.
that's when we get in that. That's a real fun one that they get into, and it's amazing. If I were to give them that lesson on a piece of paper and had them sit down and do it, they couldn't do it at all. But you take them to the lake and they see how it functions, they can do it.
And then at that point with the rocket, then they would, you know, that's where you could also introduce acceleration,
That's it.
velocity,
Exactly.
those
Exactly.
kind of terms.
Because what we do is we test the rocket with the boat with 3 different rockets. We have the S-Stage C, which is what we call 1/3 power. You might
All right.
remember this back when you were doing this. Then the S-Stage D is 2/3 power, and then the race rocket, the S-Stage E, is full power. So we can do the same dimensional analysis with each of those levels of rocket power.
Okay.
And then get a real good idea of that. And by the time we put this in the wind tunnel, we'll have a really good idea of what they think the thrust of that rocket's gonna have the effect on the boat. So they're pretty much engineers by the time they get through with this.
All right.
They're pretty.
Well, we'll continue on if we can.
Let's do it.
Okay, page 20.
Right.
We're adding pieces 50 and 51.
Okay.
And
They
just
are.
from the diagram,
That's right. That's where
it
they
looks
go.
like that would go,
That's
50
correct.
would bump up against, what number is that, 48?
That's correct.
All right, and 51 would really go against,
Right.
well, I guess you could
Same
really
thing.
do it either way.
Either way.
Okay.
Same piece.
All right, and it's going to need glue on two sides.
At this point, we probably would want to let it dry for a while because the next piece we're going to put on is 52. And
Okay,
that's when we're going to
so
really,
after 51, we'd want to let it dry for a little while?
let it dry for a while.
Okay. Let's go ahead and get those on
And
there.
at this time, teachers might want to go back to their spelling words, their words list. You might have some literature that you haven't been looking at. Yeah, well, there
Is
you
that
go.
right?
There we
Okay,
go.
so
Now
I
we
had it
get
upside
yeah, that's all
down.
right. That happens a lot.
That's okay, but
That's all right.
I could tell
Yeah,
because it was
Yeah.
kind of sloping away from it.
yeah. And this is one of those days where you can combine the building of the boat with your curriculum about now. So whatever it is you want to teach that day. There we go, looking good. And again, this is another point of, shall we say, movement. They can see that they're getting really close to getting done. The excitement is rising. And by this time, we play little fun games where everyone stands up, you know, kind of like Simon says.
Right.
And you'd point to a side of the hydroplane, and everyone has to say if it's starboard or whatever, and whoever misses has to sit down, you know, little things like that.
Okay.
I think we're looking good.
Okay.
That's about it.
So you would think probably we need, since these are smaller pieces, we need to go ahead and take a break.
Yeah, I would.
Or maybe just
Yeah.
resume tomorrow or the next lesson.
Exactly, because this piece 52 is going to put pressure on these that you put up here, and they need to be dry to put this kind of pressure on them.
Okay.
So you're actually going to bend it so.